Hi, I'm Natsuko. I'm a regular office worker living in Tokyo. Today I'm making 3 types of Japanese fried chicken called karaage: garlic soy sauce, sweet and sour, and salt karaage. Let's see which one is the best. First, cut the chicken thighs into bite-sized pieces and place them in bowls. For today's recipe, I use 1 chicken thigh for the garlic soy and sweet and sour karaage, and another one just for the salt karaage. So I'll separate them into different bowls. Next, grate some garlic and ginger and add them to each bowl. For the garlic soy and sweet and sour karaage, ginger really enhances the flavor, so I like to add a generous amount. Next, I'll season the garlic soy and sweet and sour karaage. Add soy sauce, sake, chicken stock paste, sesame oil, and a little salt and pepper. Then mix everything well so the flavor is caught the chicken. Now let's season the salt karaage. Add sake, salt, sugar, and a little pepper, then mix well. If you add extra pepper, it gives a nice punch to the flavor. Personally, I love using it a lot. Before coating the chicken, let it sit for about 10 to 20 minutes so the flavors can blend in. Then add about 3 tablespoons of potato starch to each bowl, mix well, and coat the chicken evenly. Now all that's left is to fry them slowly at around 170 to 180 degrees Celsius. Once the oil is hot, carefully place the chicken pieces in. I started with the garlic soy flavor, but maybe I should fry the salt one first, cause the soy sauce might make the oil darker. Just look at that! It already looks so delicious. When I was a kid, karaage was my absolute favorite dish on the dinner table. It often showed up in my lunchbox too. It stays tasty even after it cools down. I really loved it. This time, I'm using just a small amount of oil to shallow fry the chicken. Once one side is golden brown, flip it over and cook the other side. Oh, it looks so delicious already! Karaage is such an easy dish to make and it even tastes great the next day, so it's really the best. It's no surprise that it always ranks high among Japanese most popular home-cooked meals. For me too, karaage is probably the most memorable dish my mom used to make. Today I'm making sweet and sour karaage next, but my mom's version was a little different. She coated it in a sweet sauce made with yuzu jamu and soy sauce. I'd love to share that recipe someday too. Once both sides are nicely browned, take the pieces out and place them on a tray to remove any excess oil. They turned out so good. I'm really happy with how they look. Next, let's fry the salt karaage. Just like before, cut both sides until they are nice and golden brown. While the salt karaage is frying, let's chat a bit. How much have your rent gone up recently? I live in Tokyo and the market rent here has increased by about 10% just in the past year. Next month, my apartment lease is up for renewal, and they told me the rent would go up by 4,000 yen. I was so shocked. The renewal process was all through an app, but there was only a button that said agree. No option to refuse the price increase. So I checked the contract in the housing law again, and it said rent changes must be agreed on by both parties. So I contacted them through the inquiry form saying I don't agree, and after that they switched to email communication. Then they sent me a new renewal link with the original rent. I was honestly so proud of myself for winning the little battle, but still, these real estate companies, huh? They really tried to take advantage of people. Alright, back to cooking. It looks like the salt karaage is ready, so let's take it out just like before. It's so crispy and golden, looks absolutely delicious. Look at this! I'm so proud of how well it turned out. It's amazing how something this delicious can be made just by seasoning the meat and frying it, and most of the time you just let it cook. It's the best! Alright, for the last one, let's make the sweet and sour karaage. First, we prepare the sauce. In an empty bowl, add 1 tablespoon each of soy sauce, sugar, and vinegar, and mix them well until combined. Next, take some of the garlic soy karaage you fried earlier and soak as many pieces as you like in sweet and sour sauce. For today's video, I'm doing this step after frying the soda karaage, but normally it's best to coat the chicken while it's still warm. That way the sugar and sauce melts nicely and sticks to the chicken. Now that all 3 types of karaage are ready, let's plate them up. You can arrange them however you like on your favorite plate. Since karaage has a warm brown and reddish color, I decided to use a green plate. It's a complementary color, so it really makes the food pop. At first, I placed a garlic soy and sweet and sour karaage next to each other, but the colors looked a bit too similar, so I put the soda karaage in the middle instead. It creates a nice balance. For the sweet and sour karaage, you can sprinkle some white sesame seeds on top if you like. It adds a nice aroma and a little extra texture. Ta-da! They are all done! They look absolutely delicious! I'm starving! Let's dig in right away! As always, I light a candle before eating. It's my little ritual. Itadakimasu! So today I made 3 kinds of karaage. Garlic soy and sweet and sour are pretty common flavors you can find at restaurants, but I don't usually eat salt karaage that often. And maybe because of that, I actually like the salt one the most this time. Let me know in the comments which flavor you'd like to try, or which one you think would be your favorite. While I finish eating, let's just chat a little. How have you all been lately? Recently, a lot of people around me have started asking themselves, what do I really want to do with my life? And honestly, I've been thinking about that too. Some of my coworkers, people around my age, say they work every day but sometimes wonder, why am I doing this job? Or what's the purpose behind it? Yesterday, I met up with some friends from my study abroad days in Germany. Many of them are really ambitious. Some have started their own businesses, others work for big companies but also run their own side projects. It's amazing to see how passionate they are. For me, even though I sometimes feel tired of work, I actually find comfort in having something to do every day. When I see people who quit their jobs and then struggle with their energy or motivation, I realize that work, even if it's not perfect, is kind of an important routine that keeps us connected to society. But at the same time, I completely understand the desire to find a job that you are truly passionate about. It's something I think about too. What about you guys? How are you feeling about work or life these days? If you have any leftovers, just store the karaage in a container and reheat it the next day. I actually made some ramen and the karaage went perfectly with it as a side dish. It was so good! Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really had fun and I hope you did too. See you again in the next video. Bye bye!